acknowledgement available to
Yes, I
present?
do.
Okay, and then I'm going to ask Jeannie to read it if she is still with us.
Yeah,
Sorry, just a minute ago.
1 second.
Jeannie White, if you'd be so kind as to read.
Absolutely. Thank you. We pause to acknowledge that Solano County Democratic Central Committee of the Democratic Party sits on the land of the Miwok and Patwin people. We remember their continued connection to this region and give thanks to them for allowing us to live, work, learn, and play in their traditional homeland. We offer our respect to their elders and the Miwok and Patwin people of the past and present.
Thank you. And then we do have, again, Michael Raymond to be sworn in as an alternate. So if we could.
Hey, Don,
Yeah.
this is later. I need to swear in also for chair of United Dems.
Okay. I thought we just got you, but we'll do it again. So if we haven't already, so let's have both of you be ready to take the oath. So if you're ready, repeat after me. I state your name, do solemnly swear
I, Michael Brayman, do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I'll support
that
and
I will
defend the
support
Constitution
and
of the United
defend the
States
Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the
and the
Constitution of the
Constitution of the
State of
State of
California
California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all
against all
enemies, foreign
enemies,
and
foreign and
domestic,
domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will
that
bear
I will
true
bear
faith and
true faith and
allegiance
allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to
to
the
the Constitution
Constitution
of
of
the
the
United
United
States
States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the
and the
Constitution of the
Constitution of
State
the
of
State of
California,
California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I
take
take this
this
obligation
obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without
without
any
any mental
mental
reservation
reservation
or
or
purpose of
purpose of
evasion,
evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
that I
and I
will
will well
unfaithfully
and
discharge the
faithfully
duties upon
discharge
which
the
I'm about
duties
to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter during such time as that.
And during such time as I hold the office of Central Committee member.
During such time as I hold the office of
During such
chair
time
of
as I
United
hold the
Dems.
office of State
All right.
County Committee
Thank you both. Welcome aboard.
Thanks,
As
Don.
as my old boss had said, you've been sworn in, now you get to be sworn out. I know that one of our candidates said he had a conflicting engagement tonight. So, Michael Silva, what do you need to get back to that other
No,
event?
I resigned, I guess, if you will. I excused myself from that process.
Okay. All right. Well, then
You
I
got-
will
I'm all here
proceed
for
with
you
the
all.
regular order of the agenda then. Just to let everyone know, our regional director, Jeff Corson, agreed to come on later this evening to discuss the platform and some of the issues that went on around that from the state convention later. So, depending on where we are on the agenda, we may pause for him. But next up on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from our January meeting. Do we have those? I don't think those minutes went out, did they?
I just sent them out. I sent them out earlier, but that was quite a bit earlier. I just sent them out about, start of the meeting. I forgot.
Okay, and then with the indulgence of the group, we'll hold off on approving those to give members a chance to look at them, and we'll come back to them before the end of the meeting. So we'll move on to approval of the agenda for tonight. Does anyone have any additions, corrections, or deletions? If not, go ahead and vote. Only vote early, vote often. Right, it passed. Next item on our agenda is public comment. This is for guests to our meeting. You guests would have up to 2 minutes to speak. Additional time may not be granted, and the total comment period cannot exceed 30 minutes. So do any of our guests wish to speak? If so, please raise your hand. Looking, I'm seeing no hands up, so we'll go ahead and close our public comment and move on to our treasurer's report. So as soon as we have that ready to display, and Karen, take it away. Okay, I think we may, I know our information officer is multitasking at the moment. Can you go ahead and give a verbal report?
Sure, sure. Okay, this report is for February, and we start with our beginning balance of $10,339. Our credits, and this is in the federal account. Okay, there it is. In the federal account, crab feed contribution of $7,967 with an allocation transfer from our state account of $383.36 for total credits of $8,350.36. And then a total balance there of $18,743.36. Okay, so our expenses were River City Business Services at $522.01. ActBlue merchant fees of $194.20. We had a refund of $80. And then we had crab feed expenses of $8,553.18. We also had our storage fee at $363.33 for total debts of $9,712.72, with a federal ending balance of $9,030.64. Moving on to our state account. We had a beginning balance of $4,918.90 with a contribution of $4,500. Now there are 38 entries for disclosure in that. If anyone wants full disclosure, I know you don't want me to read 38 entries for the report. So if anyone wants a full disclosure of all those entries, please contact me at treasurer@solanodems@gmail.com. And I'm going with our contribution. We had a contribution of $10 and recurring dues of $5. And our total credits were $9,433.90. Looking at our debits in the state account, we have ActBlue merchant fees of $79.60. And that allocation transfer that I mentioned earlier is deducted $383.36 for our total debits balance ending statement of $462.96 with a state ending balance of $8,970.94. Our total federal and state accounts total $18,100 $1.58. So that's where we are there. Now, I do have an update on our crab feed. Do you want me to do that now, Don?
I see Paula's got her hand up, so do you have a question, Paula?
Yeah, my question is that storage cost of 363 for 1 month?
No, it's for 2 months.
Mm,
Yeah.
so expensive.
It's for
Okay.
2 months. Plus the storage fee is going up $15. So, yeah. It was for 2 months because on the last report, we didn't capture it. The cutoff was earlier and we didn't capture it. So we captured both for this report.
Okay.
Any other questions on that?
All right, let's go ahead and hold the crab feed report for
Okay.
along with the rest of the crab feed, but
Okay.
thank you for that. I'm going to defer my officer's report for now because what I have to talk about is primarily with the convention. So I will skip my report for now. Do any of our officers have anything to discuss that's not going to be coming up later in the program with our either the crab feed or the convention discussion? So go ahead and raise your hand. Not see any hands up. So with that, we are on to our endorsement interviews and voting. I know that the ballot is being prepared and will be emailed out shortly. But we have our two candidates with us. Well, they were with us a minute ago. Let me make sure they're still in the room with us. So we will go ahead and take them one at a time. And then we'll send out the ballots for voting. As a reminder, because this is an early endorsement, we will need either 2/3 of the members present and voting or a majority of the entire membership to approve, whichever is greater. So when you get the ballot, please go ahead and vote on that. Also ask everyone, if you have a question, please drop it into chat for our candidates. Candidates will have 3 minutes for an opening statement, followed by up to 7 minutes for questions from the members. And again, this is for questions from our members. First up, for third district, incumbent Supervisor Wanda Williams, if we can spotlight her. I saw her here.
She is here.
Okay, again, you have 3 minutes for your opening statement. I'll start the timer when you begin speaking. So whenever you're ready to begin.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was looking for a timer to come up. Well, good morning, all. Good morning, sorry. Good evening. I'm sorry, I'm under the weather, so please bear with me. I want to take this opportunity, first of all, to thank the Solano County Democratic Central Committee for the opportunity to interview with you today for an early endorsement. As County Supervisor representing District 3, it has really been an honor to advocate for the voices of those in my district, in my community. I have worked very diligently for the last 3.5 years, or 3 years, a couple of months, in this role, making sure that I protect Travis Air Force Base. I've worked to advocate and support for the vintners and growers in my district and any issues that are impacting my community. I've also, as county supervisor, transitioning from city council, encouraged and brought my good neighbor policy to Solano County, which encourages developers to work with the community and get their input on ideas in regards to any development that's being considered in the unincorporated areas of Solano County. Also, I can share that I meet on a quarterly basis with Travis Air Force Base, making sure that I'm doing everything possible to support Travis Air Force Base and protect it. I voted to pass a buffer zone around the base just to give it more support and to make sure that we don't intrude upon their space. I've also worked as a member on the Capilano JPA and on the Board of Supervisors voting to support over 300 new affordable units for individuals experiencing homelessness. I'm asking for your endorsement today to continue the work that I've started and to continue to press and move forward our democratic values. I would like to share with you, I've been endorsed by Congressman John Garamendi, Congressman Mike Thompson, State Senator Christopher Cabaldon, Assembly Member Lori Wilson, Malia Thompson, and no, excuse me, Malia Cohen, as and many, many more other local elected officials as well. And I'm also been endorsed by the Central Labor Council, the Napa Solano Central Labor Council. It will, and so with that, I do ask for your endorsement as well in this space so that I can continue to press forward our democratic values because I've been a lifelong Democrat all my life and I come from a family of Democrats as
Okay.
well. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
That was your 3 minutes. We have now up to 7 minutes for questions. Reminding folks to please drop your questions in the chat. So the first question I have is, do you have an opponent? And if so, do you know who might be supporting him or her?
Well, thank you for that question. Yes, I do. His name is Eldon Brooks Parker. He's a residential deputy sheriff, and he's being supported by Supervisor Mitch Mashburn, former Sheriff Tom Fiera, and I was also told that Jim Spearing was supporting him as well in this particular race. And that's all I know who has pool papers as of yet.
Okay. Next question. Well, I realize you can't comment specifically on California Forever. Generally speaking, do you prefer infill development around existing cities, or are you in favor of new development within the county?
Well, of course, we always want infill. Infill is always imperative. We always want to start with infill because it gives us an opportunity to maximize those spaces within our cities. I also encourage cities to build up in these spaces because I think that's really, truly important that we are building more dense in these spaces so that we can maximize those spaces for housing, of course, mixed development as well, so that we can have businesses and as well as in addition to, because economic development is going to be crucial, especially with the closures of all the different companies here in this space. And so, yes, I definitely support infill.
What do you view as your most significant accomplishment in your current term?
Oh, okay, that's awesome. Well, definitely bringing forth my good neighbor policy. I feel that that has been very beneficial. It has actually helped the unincorporated area, especially in my district, 100%. We've had meetings with ENC Winery, who were interested in bringing forward a wine pressing business. My community had an opportunity to speak with them directly, as well as currently there's a meeting taking place now on Wood Creek 60, and the community is having an opportunity to have a voice. I really believe in transparency and uplifting the voices in the community that I serve. And so that has been very beneficial, and definitely securing 300 housing units for those that are unhoused, focusing on making sure our families stay housed, that those who haven't had an opportunity, because the goal here right now is we need to try to stop homelessness as well as helping those that are unhoused find the housing units that they need. Um, I can, so those are my top two that I would say that I'm most proud of the work that I've done, but I've done so much more work than that. Definitely working with the vintners and growers and the Farm Bureau and bringing forward, and not bringing forward, but supporting the SALT grant that will also provide funding for them as well. For different farmers, especially those that have small farms, it really does help them because we've been able to provide small grants for them as well. And then for the business community, voting for the GoBiz, which now provides opportunities for our small businesses to have grants and loans so that they can maintain and keep their businesses. And that occurred after let's see, we voted on that in the first year that I was elected to office in 2023. So those are my top four accomplishments that I'm very proud of.
Okay.
Thank you.
What challenges do you face in your next term? And what are the unique skills and perspectives you bring to county leadership?
Economic development is number one. That, as we have hammered, the Solano County is hemorrhaging right now at the seams when it comes to economic development. We've lost so many businesses. We have over 1,000 individuals will be unemployed, and that does not also count for the additional businesses that have supported these agencies or corporations that are going to lose their opportunity to have businesses. What I bring in that space is making sure that I'm doing everything I can to learn about economic development and pushing for new and exciting ways in which we can do this. Now, most economic development does happen within the cities. However, I believe it's the county's role is to support our cities in this space and also make sure that we're looking at ways in which we can attract businesses here as well. And so for me, what my goal will be as I be reelected to this role is working very closely, especially with the city of Suisun and Fairfield, and looking at ways in which we can bring in more businesses. And then as a county as a whole, I am just recently came back from NACO and spent all my time visiting all the different workshops on economic development. And so one of the things I'll be working on in this role is how do we diversify all the different businesses to consider our area, if it is from shipbuilding to, ag tourism itself as a whole, and also manufacturing. So we definitely need to diversify the different businesses that we are bringing into our county. And of course, I can't really go into it, but it's also, we have this opportunity, there may be an opportunity for shipbuilding. You know what I know. I don't serve on the ad hoc committee, but definitely making sure that if we have an opportunity to have shipbuilding in Vallejo, Benicia, and maybe even Collinsville. But Collinsville is a private development, so that's really dependent upon those developers. But in reference to the different laws that have been, the work that Garamendi has been working on to try to make sure we revitalize shipbuilding, that I 100% support. And that's where I
Here's
want to
7
be in
minutes,
those
so,
spaces.
so
Oh, sorry.
thank you. Appreciate that. And we will say good luck to you. And thank you for joining us this evening. All right. Let's move to our next candidate for District 4, Michael Silva. Current council member and vice mayor. And as with our other candidate, you will have up to 3 minutes for your opening presentation. I'll start the timer when you begin speaking.
Right. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I'm really excited to kick off this campaign that's not just about myself, but about every single one of us. I'm looking for your support to be our next county supervisor for Solano County. I'm looking forward to serving with Wanda Williams, who's endorsed my campaign. I'm looking forward to serving with Cassandra James, who's endorsed my campaign. I've met with one other county supervisor who's going to remain neutral, and another one I'm still looking for a meeting to connect to see where they're at. But I know where I'm at. 100%, I am for the people of all of Solano County. In my role as a county supervisor for District 4, you can be assured that every decision I make will be based on facts, will be based on the best interest of our people. And the best interest of our people is centered on making sure that we protect our water, making sure that we protect our agricultural communities, making sure that we protect good paying jobs for all folks to prosper and have access to that American dream. So that way we make sure that stays alive for each and every one of us, not just for some of us. And that no matter what socioeconomic group that you come from, that you will have high quality of life anywhere within Solano County. District 4 is very unique. For me, it's been a very piece of precious land that I and many others have inherited. We inherit the responsibility from the struggles that our ancestors who have come before us, who have helped create a better life for us. And we inherit the responsibility to make sure that we pass that same land with those opportunities on to the next generation. Everything I've done throughout my whole entire life was to look at how I can make the most of every day that I have to live. I don't take anything for granted. When my father died when I was 12, everything changed for us. He went into an emergency room looking for help, and they sent him home. They told him he would be okay, still clutching his chest with chest pain. They sent him home, told him everything will be okay, follow up with your doctor in the morning, and he didn't make it. He and many others who are looking for help shouldn't be turned away. Our government needs to be trusted, and we need trusted leaders in those positions, not just to have a seat at the table, but to be active in how we learn, listen, and serve every constituent to the best of our ability. I've gone from pretty struggling times as a teenager, helping out my family all the way through. I barely got out of high school, but I made it. When I set my mind out to make something happen, and again, for the betterment of others, it gets done. It can't be done alone. I absolutely need your help. In the past, you've supported my efforts in 2018 that resulted in me getting the most votes ever for school board. We're going to continue, and then now currently as city council, and I see the time, and we're going to continue that on to county supervisor with your support. Thank you.
All right. We'll set the timer for your questions. You'll now have up to 7 minutes to answer questions. And the first question I have for you is, do you know current Supervisor Vasquez has announced his retirement? Do you currently have an announced opponent? And who is that person?
I'm so special. I get 2 opponents. So once I announced, soon after, the announcement came from the current mayor of the city of Vacaville, John Carley. He's pulled papers and he's announced that he's running. I believe he already had a campaign kickoff. So good luck to him. And then Juan Desmares, owner of Primo's Barbershop, he's also pulled papers. And one of the great things I like hearing is that I'm running against Michael Silva. And what I need everybody to know then I'm running for the people of Solano County on behalf of District 4.
Right? What do you view as your most significant accomplishment as a member of the Vacaville City Council?
Whew. Sometimes it's the smallest thing. So, I live in a low-income area. Never have we ever had representation. So again, when people say, hey, it's important to have the seat at the table, I never quite understood that. I'm like, well, I'm still going to be a minority. But being in that particular position, you ask, and my whole approach was making sure I established relationships with staff to help build trust and an understanding of where I was. Number two, it wasn't to come in as a threat to anybody else, to take anything from anybody else. People throughout our city deserve to be safe. People throughout our city deserve the opportunity to a good quality education, to go live a good, to work good paying jobs, and to live a good quality of life. Some of the small wins that are really heartfelt is just making sure that we got actually 80 curb cuts and sidewalks in our very low income area. I couldn't remember. There's so many times seeing folks in wheelchairs going against traffic, creating a safety hazard for themselves and others. And when I start looking more into it, I'm like, they don't have curb cuts. Their wheelchairs cannot access the sidewalks to get to their respective apartments. So we got a great collaborative effort. Actually, Jeanette Wiley was part of a group. Everything takes a whole team. She helped pass votes to make sure that we got the funding to secure putting in sidewalks that never existed. And for the first time in this young man's life that I didn't even know lived on Brown Street, he was able to access school from his side of the street. First time in his life in his wheelchair. Brought tears to my eyes, because a lot of times we don't see the impact that sometimes these small things make. Bigger things, one of the biggest projects that we've seen, particularly with redevelopment, goes with the De Colores Park. Now, the first one that I had was for Trower Park. We, the council at the time, we put a lot of effort in reinvesting back into our community, things that help unite and bring our communities together. So Trower Park is it's the last one still getting rebuilt, go figure, but it's getting done. And I'm looking forward to inviting you all to when it's actually done. We're gonna have a carne asada cookout. So a nice multicultural event, but don't tell nobody. But it's gonna be a great event. The De Colores Park that I'm talking about, that's an $18 million project that was tough to get enough support from the council. But I'm very thankful for the council members that help support the ability to not just put in a park, but to actually put in a space that allows people to celebrate life, allows people to celebrate culture. And with that, because there'll be an event stage with a commercial kitchen and some indoor space, it also is going to allow for opportunities for economic advancement. Those things are really key and fundamental towards the unique quality and the small town feeling that a lot of us want to harness and keep throughout every single city in Solano County. Yes, absolutely, in Dixon and Vacaville within District 4. So the goal for me is to make sure that while we want to bring in our biotech, an area that I'm particularly very involved in my role as a professor of biotech, we want to bring in those biomanufacturing plants. We want to bring in those advanced manufacturing plants where it fits. We also don't want to forget about folks who are trying to work their way up, whether it be from a small push cart business to actually running something they're just leasing some space out of a temporary building, or taking and transitioning that market that they build up for themselves into actual brick and mortar places that now really help allow people an opportunity to break the cycle of poverty for themselves and future generations.
What challenges do you foresee the board facing in the next 4 years? And what are the unique skills and perspectives you would bring to county leadership?
So biggest challenge is still yet to be seen from the big, beautiful bill, the one that we like to call ugly. So that it's scary, because one of the primary responsibilities for our county is to ensure that people have access, not just access to quality, not just access to healthcare, mental health, behavioral health, and many other factors under Health and Human Services, but also good quality care. And with the inexcusable cuts to funding, that's going to make it extremely challenging in an already challenging environment for our county. And so part of that, one of the biggest things that I'm hearing, and I'm on a 100-day listening session, but a little fun fact, I started that listening session long ago. So this 100-day listening session that I kicked off a couple of days ago, as part of that, one of the biggest things that most people are saying is like, we just got to find different ways to generate revenue. We don't have enough revenue coming in. And so we got to be extremely proactive at number one, of seeking out those funding sources, whether, grants from state, grants from federal government, working with different public-private partnerships, and also reevaluating how we grow and how the county supports cities and how we grow, and again, how we work together to create different economic opportunities. I think the key thing in there is to really also create a economic development strategy that's countywide. For too long, we've looked at things that have only been that we all work in silos, and the way I've kind of see it is, if Vallejo gets a win, it's a win for Vacaville. If Fairfield gets a win, it's a win for Rio Vista. If Dixon gets a win, it's a win for Benicia, right? We need to start looking at this from rather than, hey, we don't want, we're all different, we're separate. Yes, okay, we are different, but we have a lot more in common. And when we start looking at the unique aspects that we have throughout our county, we can make some really, really good stuff happening. And we need the leadership to make sure that we stay together and keep that moving forward.
Okay. I don't think you have time to answer the next question, so I'm going to ask you to drop it in chat if you have the opportunity to do so.
Which one is it?
We're at 7 minutes. A question about ensuring the county health care department can make up for lapses in federal.
Yeah.
All right.
There's also one about data centers.
You want me to answer those in the chat, you said?
Yes, we do want you to answer chat. Honor the time commitments that we made to both of our candidates. Thank you both.
Thank you, everyone. Go to silvaforsolano.com. I need your endorsement, and I need your 2/3. Actually, it would be nice to have 3 out of 3 votes, 100% votes tonight. Thank you.
Who are you? So, the spotlight. Okay. Oh, all right. Thank you. I can't get you removed, Mike. Okay. All right. Moving on. We normally have our business items, but I see that our regional director, Jeff Kortzen, is with us. And I did ask him to join us to speak on the platform that was adopted at the state party convention and some of the issues going on with that. So I'm going to ask Jeff if you want to go ahead and speak on those for a few minutes and give us an update on our platform and all the fun that happened in San Francisco.
Oh, you don't even know the half of it. All right. So for platform, many of you saw emails that I sent out and others sent out about the platform and having concerns. There were concerns that solar had been entirely removed, that I later found out that a consultant from PG&E was the one who completely rewrote the energy plank. There was just a lot of stuff that had caused concerns. There was also concerns that specific elements about they were from my understanding, they were trying to streamline the platform. For some reason, the chair and a bunch of other people have decided that the reason that people don't read the platform is it's too long, which could be true. But they went through and took a hatchet to a lot of things that are in there. So, for example, there was support for women in the military who needed to cross state lines in order to achieve health care for reproductive health. That was removed. And there was just a lot of things like that we're like, why are you removing those? And we were told, well, it's obvious that Democrats support those things. Is it? No, it's not. And we got a little frustrated. And so with a group of people, we started getting the word out that our plan was to vote no on the platform unless something changed. So at convention, well, the week before convention, they heard testimony on two different parts. One was for some proposals on the energy plank, and another one was for proposals on Gaza and Israel. They rejected the one on Gaza and Israel, and they rejected everything on the energy plank except for phasing out fossil fuels by 2030 or which they switched to 2035. For some reason in the plank, they switched it to 2045 just because, oh, that seems like a reasonable time to get it done. So then at convention, there were more conversations. Luckily, the Gaza and Israel coalitions came together and came up with common language to put into the platform. On the energy side, unfortunately, our friends in IBEW fought vociferously against any updates to the energy plank, and they prevented changes from going in, which is unfortunate. We need to stay on top of that. But then on all of the DEI stuff, so you may have heard that the platform committee met and then they adjourned and then they reconvened the meeting. That is true. The adjournment was out of order because there were items on the floor. And one of the co-chairs adjourned while others were still negotiating language on the DEI items. So when they realized that, oops, we were supposed to consider these, they called the members back in. So the members came in, and then there was a presentation on the different, what they refer to as the DEI items. And those items, they started going through them one by one, and they accepted them as they were being presented. But then there was a motion from the floor to, from one of the members to just accept everything that was outstanding and put that into the platform if that assures that the people who are going to vote no will actually convert to yes. And so they did that. Unfortunately, when they did that, I was not aware that they actually, as part of that DEI language, and I don't know whether it was something that was negotiated or it was something that the person had on their computer and thought, oh, well, I'll just include this as well. But there was a complete rewrite of the preamble. There was a complete rewrite of the energy plank. Not complete rewrite, but it appears as if it is a complete rewrite of the energy plank and a complete rewrite of the equality and opportunity plank. So that is causing a little bit of consternation on the part of the platform committee, as well it should. My understanding, what we were looking at was simply to reinsert minor items back in. And that was actually what was argued in front of the platform committee, is that's what we were doing, was inserting minor items back into the platform rather than completely rewriting sections like the preamble. So it was a mess this time. It really was a mess. And part of that, I am taking absolute responsibility that I did not notify people. Now, to be fair, it was during Prop 50 that they were doing their hearings. And I and many others were like, why am I attending a hearing on the plank that we're going to hear in several months when I want to be able to attend the I want to be able to attend the or get Prop 50 passed. That was the priority. It truly was. And I mentioned that to the chair, and he said it's no excuse. He actually just he called me. He was not happy that I was telling people that I was voting no on the platform. And he wanted me to get everybody in line behind the platform, but I said I would do that as long as it had certain things in it. So next time we are definitely keeping an eye on the platform. We are going to make sure that we see what's in there and that everyone has the opportunity to submit their testimony and everyone has an opportunity to see what's going on. One of the problems, I believe, is they don't even display the modifications or amendments that people are proposing. So they like combine different things. They say they've been most transparent than the committee's ever been, which is great, but there's still more transparency that needs to be done. And we did switch to supporting yes, but that was again before I found out about complete rewrites of different sections or planks. And but I have committed to the chairs of the platform committee that the regional directors and caucus chairs, that we're all going to ensure that next time everybody comes together. One of the advantages I see on this is simply that it brought a lot of attention to the platform. A lot of people ignore it over time. It's, it has become a bit of a heavy document. But people started paying attention to what is in or what is out of the platform. And I think that's the good thing that we can take out of this. It was a frustrating process, but yet at the same time, people are paying attention. And I think that next time we will have a much stronger platform as a result. So that's what I have to say. And I guess, did you want to, if there was any questions, Don?
If people have questions, I'd like to ask them to go ahead and raise their hand on that. I did want you to bring it up to discuss it briefly, because I know those of us who were there were getting bombarded with different things. And I will just say, as a complete outsider, the committee hearing I attended was not I'll just say it was not the smoothest meeting I've ever been at. So I appreciate the issues that people had. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Lynette, I see your hands up first.
Thank you. And thank you, Jeff, for being here tonight. Yeah, it was a craziness. And I think the platform committee still needs to reevaluate their process, because they believe it was open and available to people. But as you said, one of the major pieces for our state was going on during that crafting of that. And I don't think they're thinking of streamlining the platform. For me, was crazy. The platform is always heavy and wordy and is written that way to be able to support the party and the diversity of the party. So streamlining is not platform. It might be a different committee, might be resolutions, it might be some of the legislation, but it is not the platform, because those are our true beliefs as Democrats. And to think that, your work was to do that was kind of bad. As a CTA member, we have members on that committee that we felt didn't inform all of the delegates that we have at the conference. And we found out basically when we hit the door on Friday, look at what's going on. So thank you to all of you that stayed up to 1 a.m. to kind of recraft and get it done. And it's not the best. We can live with it for the short term, But I think the platform committee needs to realize they are on blast and people are going to be looking at them with a microscope from now on. They got a pass before, but not anymore.
Yeah.
Every word, period, comma, semicolon will be evaluated as we move forward. But thank you for all the work that you put in to making sure that it got to a place we could somewhat live with on Sunday. That's it. Thanks, Don.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks for that.
Kathy?
Before
Sorry.
you go, Kathy, I do want to note that when I was talking with Rusty, he brought up that Minnesota and our own platform, when Nancy Pelosi was chair, was 4 pages long. And for some reason, it's like that's his goal. During the second part of the platform committee meeting, somebody said, or maybe it was the first part, it was probably the first part. He said, you know, the Republican Party platform in California is 15 pages long, as if that's something to emulate. You know,
Right.
we don't want to be the Republican Party. We want to make sure that it, you know, if we have to state it more, then, you know, because we have more programs that we are actually supporting.
Yeah.
Kathy.
Jeff, I really wanted to thank you for the work that you did, and I really appreciate it because when we got in there and started looking at some of the suggestions, I think a lot of people were just in shock that they, you know, had left out some very critical things. So you can streamline, but you can streamline in a way that eliminates priorities, which seems to be what had happened. So I just want to make sure that the platform amendment that we saw Sunday morning, that is what the platform is now, especially for the energy and environment. Uh, yeah, there's, you know, one line that we had a question about there, but yeah, thank you for your work. And I know we were all like, what should we do? What should we do?
Yep.
And it just seemed so rushed and confusing.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah, we need to make sure that we start looking at what we want to see. You know, we were having conversations about the refineries because a lot of the people across the state don't have a refinery in their backyard, and you know, here we've got 3 or 4. So you know, having certain language around that can be helpful, especially because you know, we are very cognizant of the fact that by moving away from fossil fuels, that affects our communities because a large part of our tax base is coming from those refineries. So, you know, we have to be able to look at how that can be done, but yet transition in a way that does not negatively impact the communities where those refineries are.
Right.
No.
Yeah, no, I wanted to echo the previous statements there and really appreciate you, Jeff, because I think this took everyone by surprise, and that's the problem, right? And so, keeping us informed, you know, able to allow us to see that last platform committee meeting before convention. You know, as someone who's been a delegate, I guess more than 10 conventions at this point as a voting delegate and sat on 3 different standing committees. I think that, you know, this is a pretty good microcosm of how hard it is, even for our more experienced activists, including ones who've been on e-board or on standing committees, to actually know the content of what's happening inside the party institutions. You know, all of it becomes public knowledge, but the development of it all is key. And, you know, I know you and I have talked a little more about like what could have been the intent on this, because that doesn't hold about trying to simplify, you know, that kind of document to be the document that someone outside the Democratic Party would look at, you know, just out of the blue. You know, unfortunately, you know, this points to like explanations about, you know, some kind of theory of how to regain certain voters. Never mind that there's, you know, inherently moral problems with that, and also throwing your own base under the bus.
Right.
And at the same time, that's not the people who are on the sidelines that we can get back. That's not going to be on those kinds of issues. You know, I think, to the best extent we have a narrative that's about, delivering on the essentials.
Yep, I totally
for
agree.
sure.
There are people that are, it's unfortunately certain people of a certain age in a certain demographic that believe that the problem that we have as a Democratic Party is that people are becoming Republicans, and therefore those are the people that we need to reach out to. And there's those of us who believe, no, actually, there are people who are becoming NPPs because they don't want to associate with the Democratic Party. They will vote for us, but they don't want to be part of the party. And sometimes they won't even vote for us. They'll stay home. That's we actually need to be more Democratic than becoming more Republican, because this switch to becoming more Republican is what's turning people off. And unfortunately, that was my feeling too, that the platform had been rewritten as if we wanted to be centrist right as opposed to a leftist organization. That didn't make sense to me at all. I guess Michelle is up next.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff. So I'm like everyone else. Thank heavens you guys were there. But, I think what we were all amazed at was that, like, the day before we're supposed to vote on this, we got this huge packet. And then that packet was wrong, right? And then you had to go in and So basically, we had very little time to read or look at this and really understand what we were voting for.
Yep.
And a lot of people were talking about changing the process itself, starting it earlier, have it be more inclusive, maybe a little bit more negotiation could take place at that point. Other things like transitional plans for workers and organizations could be built in so the environmental people didn't have to kick the can down the road this time. Things like that. I'm just wondering if you think that's at all possible.
Oh, I do think that it is. We need to we need to work on whether it's rules. The guy who works for PG&E that wrote the environmental plank has a conflict of interest. He should not have been on that plank, period. He absolutely has a conflict of interest. He said that he's worked in the environmental space for 10 to 12 years. But when you look at it, it's not environmental, it's all energy based. So, in fossil fuels. And that is not somebody who should be writing that plank. He might be, have some ideas and give some feedback, but he rewrote the entire thing. That's a problem. So we need to look at how people are assigned to the planks. There's a difference between having knowledge of a subject and having a conflict of interest or being interested in something. So we need to make sure that if somebody has a conflict, they should not be on that plank, or they shouldn't be on the committee overall. In addition to that, we needed to start taking a look at the process, like Lynette had said. The rules say that they had to submit a public draft by December. There's a certain number of weeks before convention that they were supposed to submit it. So it was actually out on the website as of December 15th. And that's the one that we finally saw and finally started getting frustrated with. But there's nothing in the rules that says that they then have to publish anything between then and convention. So when we were talking to them, they kept saying, no, that's not what's in the current draft. Okay, release the current draft. And they said, oh, it's against the rules for us to do that because it's not a final draft. Which doesn't make sense because they had already released a draft. So the whole concept of we're not going to release it because we don't have to is not transparent. It's a big problem. So if we have to write rules that force them to release it, then that's just what we're going to have to do. So, we need to take a look at the entire thing. And if they aren't willing to participate with us in that way, then we just force our hand so that they have to be more transparent than they have been.
Yeah, and who's actually on that board or that committee?
You can go to
Important.
the, if you go to kedem.org/resources, scroll down to standing committees, click on that, and then the second one down is platform, and all of the members are listed there.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, no, I get that. I'm just saying the people that are appointed to that committee, how the committee's even formulated, and the fact that all stakeholders are not there, that it makes it very difficult to come up with a successful policy. And so that's my point. I hope that part changes.
Yeah, it's a lot of that depends on who your chair is and what he wants to see as a result of different things, or she. And that's a different thing that could be worked on over the next couple of years. So we'll see.
Karen?
Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
Listen, I actually had some concerns when I saw the platform and around equity and women as well. And it was my thought, and I think Glenn mentioned this, that the platform, from the writer's point of view, from what I saw, it looked like they may have considered that it was too woke. And so when you really got into the weeds of it, okay. Certain things
Some fun interim music for us.
Yeah,
so.
there we go. So, particularly in one of the caucuses that I was in, they were confused and felt left out of the platform. So, I think they could make it more of a process of communication. Again, I know Lynette said it, you talked about it. I have nothing to add there. I think that's a great idea, that it can circle back to folk and that they make noise about it so folks know where to find it and that it's there.
Yep.
But thank you for all your efforts. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure that it's front and center. Like Lynette said, I'm not super proud of the current platform, but yet at the same time, I'm proud of the efforts that we made to correct a lot of the problems. So, or some of the problems, some of the most egregious issues, especially around women, minorities. It was just unbelievable that they were actually given direction that said if you list a group of people, you should remove all those groups and just say all. And I was like, that sounds like all lives matter. Do you not understand that that's what you have actually just told your committee to do? And that is literally what they just did. They, instead of saying, we support, there's in healthcare, Black women are often ignored when it comes to birth. And there's a lot of problems with that. And when we have something in there that says we want a focus on that, there's a reason for it. It's not just, oh, all women should be able to have appropriate care at birth. Yes, and there's a specific problem. And that specific problem is why we're focusing on it. And we can't remove those types of things from our platform, because that's when we start telling communities that they don't matter. And that's what I felt they were doing. And we can't I don't care about the woke shit, because as far as I'm concerned, I am awake and I am woke. So, I am going to proudly hold that forward, that I stand for the Democratic Party values, and I will support all the others that are there with me. So, and if somebody doesn't like being woke, then they don't need to be part of the party if they don't want to. But I'm here and I'm staying. So. Yes, Kathy, the opposite of woke is asleep. And we're not. So. All right, Don, I think we kind of covered this in detail.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Jeff. I know there was a lot going on, and there was a lot of, as people commented, there were a lot of other things that also went on at the convention that have caused some Pepto-Bismol moments, but we will talk about them a little later on. I do get back to our regular agenda. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule. I know you had some other places to be tonight, and appreciate you popping over here and joining us.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Okay, thanks everyone. Jumping back to the agenda and the communications committee. I know Michelle said she was going to have a very brief report. So if she's still with us.
Yep, I'm here. So, yeah, I just wanted to say that members of the committee are going to be going up to Placer County next month to participate in their democracy workshop. And hopefully we'll be able to bring that back to our clubs here. And they have all kinds of systems developed to get people involved, including house parties and very cooperative kinds of things. So I'm looking forward to that and looking forward to telling people about it and seeing what we can do here. And that's it. So we can talk about the convention some more.
Awesome. Okay. Before we do that, legislation committee. Bonnie, did you have anything to report this month?
Yeah, hi, good evening. I just want to let folks know that we'll resume our meetings in March. March 18th is the date at 7 p.m. If folks can't make that date and they're interested, actually, if I would love to hear from folks who are interested, so please email me. If that's the case, I'll put my email in the chat. I will send out an announcement. I prefer it not to be a committee of 2 or 3. So unless we get more interest in this, I'm going to, I'm not sure what I should do. But we have had some really stalwart, committed people on the committee. And I believe we've done some things that are meaningful. But I would really like to see more participation in this committee. So again, I'll put my email in the chat. Send me a message if you're interested, or even put it in the chat if you're interested in being involved in the committee. I will send the information to the whole central committee because it is open to anyone who is interested, but put it on your calendar, the third Wednesday, which is March 18th at 7 p.m. And thanks.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Moving on to the crab feed update. We'll start with the money side of it. So Karen, if you can pop on and give us the numbers.
All right. I'll start with the income sheet. And I think Amber has this, I hope. I don't know if she got it or not. Did you get it, Amber?
I'm sorry, what sheet is this, Karen?
This is the income sheet, the sales.
Can you forward it to me? That doesn't ring a bell.
I sent it to Don. I don't know. I should have sent it to. May not.
Yeah, I forwarded it out this
crab update. Okay.
This evening.
Oh, is this the sales spreadsheet?
Yeah,
crab?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the update.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I was trying to
No worries.
on the authentication code.
Yeah.
Forget the name. I put it, should have had it.
We seem to be having intermittent issues on it, Michelle, on the ballot. So we're working on that, and we'll undoubtedly be extending the time. Because the code was dropped into chat earlier, but it's working for some and not for others.
If you are having an issue, please exit out and go back to the email and click the link again, because the form was updated. So that might be the reason why the code is not working. So exit out, go back to the email that Don sent, click on the link, and then enter the authentication code. If it's still not working, then just send me a DM in the chat privately and I'll help you out.
All right. So all that to say, we'll be pulling up the report momentarily. For the crab feed, but good job everyone on that. Okay. And
Where is the ballot supposed to be coming from? Or what are we?
the ballot was emailed out about 7:30.
Oh, okay.
I forwarded it. And then as far as the crab feed report, whenever I emailed that out 5:36, I do not know. I'm trying to get my own ballot to work. Well,
And I need the code. I'm lost with this code. But
it is 82. It's supposed to be 82470.
82470.
I will drop it into chat again. And here's the treasurer's crab feed report.
Okay. All right, Don, I'll get started on that then.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So to start out, our sales look very good. Our federal sales was $3,450, and our state sales were $9,660. And we did receive one of our checks that was pending, and that added $1,000, but it's not included in this. It's not included in our in the treasurer's report that I gave you, because it did come in after our cutoff date, so our capture date. So the total tickets that we had paid at this venture was $13,110. We did at the desk at the door receive $885 in wine, beer, soda, and water. Our art and dessert desk was $455, and for a total desk income of $1,340. That was captured in the expense report. And then Act Blue, we received $1,863. So our total capture there was $16,313. Now we do have some pending checks that are coming in. They'll be coming in. And we also have a pending dollars in inventory due from our Southern Vice Chair of wine, beer, and the post inventory. We haven't gotten that yet. We'd like to get that so we can wrap it up. The wine and beer tip jar, we didn't get the info on that either. We'd like to get it. And then we have an unpaid balance from March of 2025, which was our last crab feed of $132.12 that we'd like to get to. The other thing is that we would also, we're also waiting on Rally Up. Rally Up usually is sent through, it may be sent through Act Blue, but it also may be sent through NetFile. I haven't seen it come up yet, but as soon as that comes through, we'll add to it. And this is why this is the tentative balance in income and not the final. But you'll be getting that as soon as I have it, okay? Any questions on that? Okay, now I'm gonna go to our expenditures. And I'll wait to Amber to flip that form over. There we go.
I think that's when we needed the music.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so our invoices were obviously one of our biggest expenses was crab because it was a crab feed. So we spent $4,885.70 on the crab. The pasta we got from Mary's Pizza Shack was $1,017. We got our liquor from Benicia Bottle Emporium was $672.21. And our Jelly Belly venue, which really was a nice venue. I really liked it, but the kitchen was small. But other than that, it was a dynamite venue, $1,840. So those expenses were a total of $7,397.90. Now we do have some reimbursable receipts. With Maggie Colt, we had a check for her for $138.26, and that included dinner plates, wooden knives, napkins, plastic times. I'm going to be very specific so you guys know exactly where the money went. Kathy Courage, she got the butter, the salad dressing, Hawaiian rolls, and the plastic cups and the pop, $291.11. And I, your treasurer, Karen Rogers, I've got binders for us to have for organizational purposes. We printed the posters to address where people were to go for what payment, the art, the dessert, the prepaid tickets, all of that for a total of $146.79. And I spent $10 for certified mail to send checks to our accountants. That totaled $586.64. So our total expenses were, they totaled, when adding that to the $7,097.90 was $7,984.60. So we still have some outliers, like I mentioned, Rally Up. We may have a few other necessary things, just a few things. I don't think we have any more receipts. I think we mentioned to everybody to turn in the check request form and their receipts so that we could make sure that those were all paid for. So that's where we stand with that. We had a really good crab feed. Everybody enjoyed themselves. People didn't want to go home, and we made money. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. With that, I'll turn it over to Vernil or anyone else who wants to give their feedback on the crab feed.
Well, Don, I will say something. I just want to say thank you again to all the committee chairs and the volunteers. It wouldn't have been successful without you. I did send some thank you notes out to some, to let some volunteers know that they were seen and their efforts didn't go unseen. Also, I want to mention that we're going to have an awards event this year in the spring or summer. That'll be our awards. We haven't done that in a couple of years. So we plan on having an awards in the late summer, early fall. And again, and the crab feed for next year's date is February 20th, 2027. We're going back to the Nelson Center because of what Karen had mentioned earlier about the kitchen. That kitchen space made a big difference. But again, I want to say thank you to all those who have made this a successful event. That's all I have.
Paula,
Oh, Vernil, what date was that again for next year?
the 20th.
February 20th.
Great.
No Super Bowl, no Valentine's Day, no President's Day.
So Vernil, do you need a motion to give them a deposit for
Yes,
next year?
I do. I need a $465, I believe, deposit to hold that date at the
So
Nelson
moved.
Center.
This is Gianna, second.
Okay, thank you.
Motion and a second on that. I'll vamp for a minute to give our info officer a chance to create the poll. I do want to echo what everyone says. has said on that. Everything but the kitchen was wonderful. I think if we are doing a catered event, we might want to consider going back to Jelly Belly for a spot, assuming they give us a decent price. But yeah, trying to actually cook in that kitchen. I'll just say I heard from many of the kitchen staff at great length about the working conditions. So, but it was a good find. We got it done, and I want to echo what everyone has said. Thank you to everyone on the committee, all the volunteers, especially Vernell and her leadership of making it happen. She did an amazing job in herding the cats and making sure we had a successful event. So thank you, Vernell. And as we've said, we'll be having the awards event coming up. To be determined. State convention update. We've talked a lot about the platform. I will say that other than that, there was a training for those of us who were able to attend it on Friday, continuing on recent work on looking at techniques for volunteer recruitment and working with young voters, working in digital media. What was the second part of the training I attended?
Deep canvassing.
Deep canvassing, yes.
And volunteer recruitment.
So there was a lot of work on the forever organizing model, some of which is stuff those of us who've attended these trainings in the past have heard before, but some of it's still good reminders. I appreciate that they're offering this training now at convention. I don't appreciate the fact that they're charging an extra amount for it. Convention itself is expensive enough, but we got there. I know that those who went to the various caucuses had good events. There was a couple of impromptu meetings of Central Committee chairs that were attempted to be organized. One lasted about 20 minutes because it was between meetings, and the other one was honestly too darn early in the morning for me to attend, having been at the hospitality suites the night before. I will echo what Jeff and others have said implicitly about a hierarchical approach towards the convention and voting on platform and some of the endorsements and the process. I think it might be were those of us who play in party business and wish to stay active in the party to be talking with people about perhaps recruiting a more egalitarian candidate for chair in future cycles, in trying to spread the wealth and not dictate endorsements on personal preference. So it was an interesting event. There was a mixture of good news and enjoyment, and then plenty of stuff that gave fuel to any cynic who was present. I don't know. Does anyone else have anything they wish to share about the convention that we've not already hashed over and over? What should we do? Put your hands, Kathy.
Several of us went to the tribute dinner for Nancy Pelosi, and I thought it was really great. Adam Schiff gave a wonderful speech, and I had a great time. I found that the training sessions on Friday were really good. They were really good, especially the one on deep canvassing, and I'm hoping that we will be able to get some people to do some of that in some of these districts that are really critical to winning back the House. Thanks.
Bonnie.
Yeah, I first of all, I want to echo what Kathy said. The dinner for Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff's opening to that was amazing. The whole thing was really very inspirational. She is a very inspirational person, You know, the woman has a crystal clear moral compass that she lets no one get in the way of, and it's just incredible. I also want to echo about the training on the KDEM camp. I attended the poll protection, voter protection part, and that was really, really important because we are going to have some real challenges coming up in future elections with this particular administration. And there was, and I just wanted to say that it was great hearing all the gubernatorial candidates. I thought that even the ones that I don't particularly like did a good job. And anyway, I thought it was, for me, I thought it was a very successful convention, barring the other kind of political behind the scenes things that were apparently going on. Thanks.
Yeah.
Those of you that went to the dinner, it's great to hear that it went well. I was given a ticket and then I couldn't go because I was dealing with all the other political stuff. But I do want to again point out that KDEM has heard the concerns about the costs. And but I do want to note that that's why, so they've helped to subsidize the cost of the hotels. So, there's no way that you could get a ticket for, or, get a room for $175 a night. You just can't in San Francisco. And so that's where some of these extra funds are going towards, is you'll see an increase in the fundraisers. You'll see an increase in a couple of other areas so that we can lower the cost for for people that need assistance in getting in there. So that is one of the reasons that some of those costs are going up. We still want to see how we can get them down. I know Yolo County is planning on doing a kind of a fundraiser for and creating scholarships or something like that to assist their members that want to go. Next year, of course, will be in Southern California the first year. So the first part of the year. So next convention will probably be around May of next year in Southern California. But we will also be going through reorganization before that. So just be prepared. We have to elect new ADEMs. We have to elect people in our central committees, elect new e-board reps before the next convention. Before that, however, our next e-board meeting is going to be in Ontario, California, and that will be in July. It's July or August. It's more likely July. And so more details will be coming on that soon.
Jeanette.
I'll just throw in real quickly that it was great to see quite a few young people. I know the young Dems were meeting at the same time, but sometimes you go to these things and you think they're all people that are older and retired, but it was gratifying to see some younger people that were involved, particularly, with the gubernatorial candidates. I'm sure they recruit a lot of people to do the sign waving and the, rah-rah, but it was great to see everyone there. So that was it.
I do want to add small bit of feedback that I plan on giving the party is that the speeches, I'm glad that you guys were able to hear from the gubernatorial candidates, but they started with the gubernatorial candidates while people were trickling into the room. The gubernatorial candidates should have gone last. They should have gone at the, first should have been the lower offices and going down to governor. Instead, because the room was not filled when they spoke. So that part they're going to have to work on fixing.
Well, I don't think it's ever perfect because it also usually runs long and they will adjust the other schedules to compensate. So you end up trying to eat in 20 minutes or something like that. So is always a challenge. Because I remember the bad old days when we had unlimited before campaign finance reform, when the gaming tribes and everybody paid for everything with soft money, and so we could get convention for cheap. But yeah, you live and you learn. So that's it for that. Thanks to everyone for your feedback on that. The last item I do have, I just want to bring to people's attention. Last year, after the assassination in Minnesota, the legislature passed AB 1392, which now automatically makes the addresses, their personal addresses, emails, and phone numbers for both elected officials and filed candidates confidential. They opt out for their stuff to be displayed, or they can list their a separate campaign information available. But what this means is it'll be somewhat more challenging for us to verify registration and things like that moving forward. So I want to, we're going a little long tonight, but I want people to start thinking of alternate means that we can reach out to people, verify their registration, get their contact information so that we can continue to endorse at the local level. Because it's, we started to run into it a little bit this cycle. It was starting to have some people's information starting to be blocked. And so we want to, I'm trying to be proactive in coming up with solutions before this fall when we can't find anybody. It is 1392, AB 1392. It was a gut and amend in like last August that they did this. So, think about it. One of the things I have contemplated is that what if we can get valid contact information to begin with, we could ask them to do a screenshot from the Secretary of State site showing their registration and then redact whatever information they don't want to share with us. But we still need to come up with solutions to getting their contact information. So in light of that, I guess I will ask all of you to put your thinking caps on, and if you can come up with some good selection. Did I invert the numbers? Oh, okay. How we can get that information, make sure we're reaching out to our candidates this fall and moving forward, so that we can give people a chance to be heard by us. And I'm assuming our allies in labor and other organizations will be having similar issues. So perhaps one of those conversations will also be informally making sure candidates do fill out that contact information sheet, because I know in the past they haven't always done so. So unless anyone has major thoughts on it at this point, Paula.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were asking. I don't have a question about that. I have a question about the endorsement vote, when we will get the results.
I think we're going to extend it out till 9 o'clock, because I know there are a lot of people who are having issues getting the link. And as soon as we close the voting at 9 o'clock, and then we have to double check it and confirm that the votes reaching the threshold are all valid votes. That's the big issue that we're facing, because it either has to be the greater of 2/3 of those present and voting, or a majority of the membership. So it might take us a little bit just to confirm that. I'm hoping to have that email go out tonight.
Thank you.
But I'm not going to commit, Amber, to that. But that if all goes well and we don't collapse and tire, because I feel like I'm coming down with whatever it is that everyone else has been complaining about as well. So okay, that's all I have for right now. We will be doing our regular endorsements next month. So reach out to our superintendent if she wants to seek endorsement. Any other Democrat that you know is running for county office, encourage them to fill out our questionnaire. And pro tip, I doubt we're going to change our questionnaire that much between now and November. So anyone running for election or re-election this November wants to get an early start at looking at the questions, well, use your initiative. Anybody have any announcements they wish to make, like upcoming precinct walks or phone banks or fundraisers for their campaigns? Gian.
On Saturday, there's a lunch and learn with Jermindy, our wonderful Wanda Williams, and illustrious Lori on Saturday, and I think it's at 12 o'clock at Wanda. Where is
Solano Community College.
Yeah,
on
Solano
the second
Community
floor.
College. Right.
But right before the college,
Well, it's actually not Solano College. It's on Campus Lane. It's 260 Campus
220.
220 Campus Lane.
Okay. Oh, that sounds good. And I've just been reminded that we have been working on a poll. So the poll to approve the crab feed deposit is ready. So I'm going to ask Amber to launch that, and we'll vote quickly while Kathy is giving her announcement.
We're going to start doing, Progressive Dems is going to start doing some postcarding through the Progressive Turnout Project. Our first meeting and writing session will be this coming Monday at 4:30 at my house. So if anyone's interested, just drop me an email and I'll send you the address. But this is a way what they're doing right now is just correcting misinformation. So they're calling it their voter education campaign.
Awesome. Jeff again.
Oh, Vanessa, got a little bit of feedback there.
Oh, pardon me. Excuse me.
So I didn't see Jeannie raise her hand. So I'm speaking on behalf of Jeannie and the Rio Vista Dems, that if you don't make the lunch and learn on Saturday, after that, the Rio Vista Dems are having a meeting with Garamendi at 3 o'clock. Jeannie will speak first, and then Garamendi will be up at 3:30. If you want more information, please see Jeannie or the Rio Vista Dems information.
And I
Thanks,
will
Jeff.
throw in a pitch for the Northern Solano Club's Democratic prom or dining and dancing event, whatever you wish to call it, on March 21st. You can go to our club's website and then follow the links to it. We'd love to see you there. Are we done? Has everyone voted who wishes to vote on the Dem prom, or excuse me, the crab feed deposit? So get your votes in, and then we can close that. Michelle.
Yeah, I just want to echo what you said about the Northern Dems fall prom, because they're doing the heavy lifting for all of us, but that whoever gets elected is going to affect everyone in the county. And my understanding is if people want to go, they don't have to get dressed up or anything, and there's going to be other things they can do there as well, talk to candidates and things like that. So and if people don't want to go, or if they don't want to go, or the ticket's too much, they can just go donate a little bit too. So I would encourage people to do that.
Thank you, Michelle. Karen.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks a lot, Jeff, for that. Yes, we are having Garamendi out this Saturday, and Jeannie White is going to speak too. So we'd love to have you. And we're also having Christopher Cabalden on March 19th. He will be out in Rio too. So thanks much. Hope to see you.
Awesome. And my other hand apparently didn't connect with our candidates. So I'm just going to say that when our candidates have either fundraisers or phone banking or precinct walking events, I'm sure they will get us the information that we will share with all of you. So assuming we have endorsed either Wanda, Michael, or both, that you can then get out there and support or endorse Democratic candidates when that comes out, because the election's 90 some odd days away at this point. Anything else? If not, I will entertain a motion, and again, voting will end at 9 o'clock.
Second.
And then we will tally the votes and get them to you as soon as possible. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and thank you again, Jeff.
Good night. Good night.
Good night,
Good night.
everyone.
Good night, everyone. Hey, Amber, if you're still on.